Hello, I'm Shauna. I'm passionate about pages and I'm sharing a fun little Easter layout with you today. This is one you can make before Easter or after Easter. I just really liked this paper. This is from the Life's a Hoot collection, and the soft colours of the paper plus the fact that they have like this gold looking print overlaid over the other circles just felt right to me for Easter. On this page I heat embossed the title using the gorgeous Havana alphabet stamp. It's on a backing sheet of Seabrook cardstock, and then the 8-inch panel of the Life's a Hoot paper, and this zip strip actually came from that same sheet of paper. And so what I'm focusing on today is the little embellishment clusters that have been made for it. So first up, around the word Happy Easter, I've stamped some little eggs, and they come from the Easter Gnomes stamp set. So it's Z4682, and it's this little stamp here. And you know, they're quite small. You look at them compared to my hand, and you can stamp on a thin cut. But for this particular section, I just stamped straight onto the cardstock using the inks that matched the papers, and I added some Stickles glitter gel on the dots to jazz them up a bit. And then there's two clusters on this page, and there'll be one on the facing page that are based on a piece of Oasis holographic paper, and they use the gnomes that are on this set. So you've got that little girl collecting an egg for her basket. You've got this little gnome with the braids and a really big egg. You've got this little gnome pushing a wheelbarrow, and the one that's going on the facing page is this little gnome who's plucked a carrot out of the veggie patch. All right. One alternative you have for that egg die cut is to make it a little bit larger. So let me show you that. I'll put them on here, and you can see that just using that egg die, I have been able to make up my own Easter egg wrappings, okay, and make them a bit larger and a bit bolder so that they'll stand out a little bit more on the page. The way to do that is super easy. Let me zoom you in. Okay, you want the blank side, you know, don't stamp it, basically cut it. So again, it's using that thin cut that comes in the set, this one. Just cut it from white cardstock, and then take your fine tip journaling pen. I use the black Le pen for mine, and decide on a pattern. I might go with that zigzag because I've only got one of those, and just draw your pattern on there. So you see I've done some with stripes, I've done some with dots, I've done a crosshatch, I've done curves and the zigzag. Then decide on the colours of tri-blend markers that you would like. So I went through, and again I chose some that would go with the colours that are in the paper that I'm using. And the easiest way I have found to decide that is by using a little colour swatch. So in the Close to My Heart catalogue, we have two sets of tri-blends. There's the tri-blends blends, which are the lighter shades, and the deep blends, which are the darker shades. This is in a 4x6 flip flap. I print it onto cardstock, and then I use the light, medium and dark of each one. So this is the pale pink blend, which is this one. and I just do a little bit of light, medium and dark. I can audition colours from my swatch with the colours that are in here. But that's how I narrowed down my colours. And then all I need to do, I'll just take this off the cardstock, is colour it in. And I might go with that pale pink. Tri-blends always go on darker than they are when they're dry, so don't think, oh, that's too dark. The journaling pen doesn't tend to run. I mean, obviously, if I went right over it really hard, it might run, but it doesn't run a lot. And then I might go with the yellow, I think. And I think I like the medium shade for this one. And there you have some really fun individual Easter egg designs, okay? And this could be fun if you've got kids or grandkids that scrapbook with you. This could be a fun little part for them to do for your layout. Okay, so that's my Easter eggs sorted. The gnomes I've coloured very, very simply using, you know, the one pen for each section, light, medium and dark. I'm not an expert colorist, but when it's on the page, I think it looks fine. So, you know, don't be afraid to start experimenting with colouring with the tri-blend markers and trying the shading, because you'll impress your friends. You really will. Okay, so all I need to do is add this paper on. Now, that is going to cover up the whole, you know, bottom 2/3 of this piece of cardstock, and I don't feel I need that. So I'm actually going to trim the cardstock down to 5 inches wide and glue this so that there's a join behind. And there we go, by the magic of video. Oopsie. That's done. So using your Versamat makes it nice and easy to level everything up, and then you can see I've got this. So if I then wanted to work on the back of this, I've got something interesting to start with as the base of my page. Okay. Now I'm going to continue this shape a little bit across and then put another one over here. So as I said, this is made with the Oasis holographic paper, and I have used 2 treatments on it. I've used an embossing folder, a floral embossing folder, and I've used the Slimlines frame die cut, just that middle bit with the little scallopy edge. Okay, so what I did first was I used the embossing folder, and then I cut out the frame. And I am only using a couple of smaller pieces of the holographic paper because I don't need the full length of that slimline thin cut. I want the pattern to push down into the shiny side, so I need it raised here, okay? And then it will push down into it, so it's kind of like opposite to what your brain thinks. Basically though, whatever you do for the first one, do it for the rest of them on the page, and then it'll all match. All right, so I will do that and cut that and be back. All right, back again. You'll see that it's very reflective, this holographic, but I love it. How pretty is it? There's several different colours available on the website, and depending on what it's sitting next to, it will take on different shading of the colours. So what I'm going to do is just line that up. I've just put the 2 pieces close together. I'll line it up and then I'll trim it off. And as luck would have it, this is kind of coming down in a similar space, so I might even be able to oh no, not quite match the design, but close enough. So I just want to bring it over yeah, maybe a couple of inches, and have it paired like that. And I'm not going to put any, you know, Gnome stuff here, but I might put a couple of Easter eggs on there, okay? And then this last one, this piece, I'm going to put over here. I don't want it at the same level as this one, but oh, dagnabbit, it's going to cover up that piece, but you know, oh well, so be it. Can't have everything. And again, I'll just hang it a little bit over the edge and trim it off. It only needs to be about that much. Okay. Super easy. I'm not oh, a couple of these, oh no, I did add these on foam, so I'd better do that. I like using the foam tape for these larger pieces rather than lots of little dots of foam. And then I'll just fill in a couple of spots, smaller spots with smaller pieces. The reason I like to use foam is it creates well, it creates shadow on your page, which makes it interesting, but just having that slightly raised element just kind of adds depth to your embellishment clusters. So if ever you're putting an element down and your card or your page is looking really flat, try putting one or more of the elements up on foam tape, and you'll be amazed at that slight little change, the difference that it makes. So this little guy can go here. I'm going to trim these off. Easiest way to do that is just with my scissors, following the edge of the paper. So you don't need to put it under your 12-inch trimmer or anything like that. That's nice and easy, and I might use those two little bits somewhere else along the way. And then while these are on here, I'm going to pop some glue on them, and they can go onto the layout just near where my gnomes are, okay? Now, I could wait till I've got photos on and also put them around photos, but what I'm feeling with this, because this print is quite busy, I really want my embellishments to be very clustered, okay? I don't want them sort of everywhere. There's enough busy going on there. Or maybe I'll pop this on a bit of foam and overlap it with those other ones, just for a bit of fun, like that. And then I'll do the same, have a couple more eggs. I won't do a lot, but I'll just and I'll avoid a spotty egg because there's a big spotty egg there. So I think a stripe works nicely. And then maybe, well, that's a similar color. Oh yeah, the kind of patchworky one works nicely too there. And then the last few can go here, like they've fallen out of the wheelbarrow. That one can go down there. And maybe that one there. Alrighty, I think that's good. So that then is my layout finished. Now when you come to thinking about photos, oh, I could have added these, but I don't think it needs them. They're cute little baskets though, aren't they? Now you've got lots of options for your photos because you've got all this space and all this space here. So you can put lots of photos on there. You could put a 5x7 photo on here, or you could just put some 6x4s and so on here. And it's completely up to you how you do that. This is the space I will plan to use for my journaling. And I plan to use the adhesive strips for journaling. So you write on them while they're on the backing sheet and then peel them off and stick them down. But one of the things I really like to do with these adhesive sheets is color them. Probably like the look of doing it before you write on them, so that then the ink that you've written in sort of pops a little bit more on the page. And all you do is I just use my regular inks in a color that is in the pattern. So I've chosen Lagoon. Work on a messy mat or on a scrap piece of paper. So I'll just show you on these little off-cutty bits. And if the strip is hard up against another strip that you don't want colored, then I just peel these off and put them on my all-purpose mat and color them that way. Now you don't want a lot of ink, you just want to be fairly light with your ink, and if you start light you can always build up to more. Okay, so that color then would be just a very soft transition. It would blend with the background so that it would look like the journaling straight on there. But the reason I like doing it on the strips is 2 reasons. It keeps my journaling straight, and if I make a mistake, it's much easier just to write up another strip rather than having to replace a piece of cardstock. Now I'm just going to try with the, what's this colour? The Periwinkle, which is another colour I know goes nicely with that one, to see if that looks a bit better as a contrast against the background paper. Okay, so when you're using these journaling strips, you can just cut through the backing and the strip, and that's how I've got all these different lengths. And it's good to save some of the smaller pieces just for that. Oh, I do think I like that one. Yep. So that's what I will do, because I will have quite a story, because our Easter is going to be in Portugal this year with a group of 30 people, and we've got an action-packed day planned. So I know I will have lots to write on there. Okay, so once I'm back from Portugal, I will add photos to this, and I will come back and show you what it looks like with the photos. But I would love you to have a go at it. Super simple, 8 inches zip strip on a backing sheet. Title, 3 embellishment clusters, and you're good to go. Enjoy.